Do you think our county and city government should fund more programs such as the Domestic Violence Coalition and safe houses?
On city government.
Well, I don't really know that I'm qualified to say. I would have to know more about the budget situation. I don't know whether they can do more. I know that when I read this question, what came to my mind was the desire that I have to see other agencies besides government get involved in these areas. Churches, for example. My father was in ministry here in Chattanooga for 35 years, and I know some of the things that our church was involved in. I think, when we see these churches on every corner, certainly to the extent that safe houses or shelters or places of that nature to be opened up, I think that's, as I understand my faith, that's what churches where I would attend should be doing. I know that the church where I do attend has a ministry to the homeless, and I'm glad about that. But I would like to focus a little more on what can be done outside of the government. The government has a hard time being real successful in doing a whole lot of anything for very long, even if they are for a short period of time.
And you're so right there, because the problem occurs a large result because of culture. The problems in culture, economic want. You don't have things. Your whole life is such that it's very frustrating, and you resort to violence to solve problems. Drug abuse, alcohol abuse, which is probably the #1 factor in these things. Our culture, we love violence. Why we are one of the most violent cultures in the world. Our sports are violent. Mixed martial arts, it's like a culture of violence. I mean, the video games, the movies. I mean, everywhere you look, it's a very violent world. It's much more violence than we were exposed to as children. So what effect is this having on children? I don't know. But when I grew up, we had Sheriff Andy Taylor of Mayberry. He didn't carry a gun. And now, it's not only the criminals who are violent. You watch shows on TV, the police are just as violent. They strike each other. So, there's violence all around us. So you're exposed to it all the time. So to think that government is somehow is totally unrealistic. What has an effect on kids? What do they see? They're heroes, rappers. Rappers, your heroes, passive, friendly. Well, there's so much violence all around us that who knows what effect it's having on the children. We're desensitized.
So, sorry to interrupt this. So do you think society has more of an opportunity to accomplish something than the government does?
I think absolutely. There are lots of private foundations. There's huge money in private foundations. There's churches. There's other organizations. You know what? Let's start, because it starts at home. The problem is violence in the home. What is creating this violence? Government's not creating it. We're trying to do something about it, but we're not going to solve it. I can just tell you, we're not going to solve it unless it starts outside of government. We're designed to prosecute. Okay, our whole system is from the police, the prosecutors, the judges to adjudicate. But I'm interested in stopping it. I'm interested in seeing people quit striking and hurting each other to solve their problem. And gangs do it, people do it, kids do it. It's like we have the zero tolerance thing now in schools, but all around you're being preached that violence is the solution to your problem. All around the world. It's just it's a tough world for kids, I think, to deal with violence.
I think potentially you brought up a very good point about churches and other organizations, lead the way trying to combat this, not just putting it on the government, because government is not the way to solve all our problems, and it's not the person who is at fault for all our problems. It starts at home.
you.